Hey everybody, Christopherodd here. Today we're looking at Phoenix Point, but not in the way that you might imagine. I have completed a full playthrough of this back when it released on PC, and had a great time with it. There was definitely some things that they've changed between now and then, which is why when Snapshot Games offered to sponsor a video, I was like, yeah, this is great timing. You guys ask me all the time to try Phoenix Point again since the updates, and here we are. However, small surprise. This game is releasing on consoles now. So I'm actually playing this on the PS5. This is technically a PS4 version. There's an Xbox One version. If you buy this game, you'll get a free 4K 60 FPS upgrade to the next gen version when that's released. I'll have links down below if you want to check that out for yourself. Another cool thing about this, they're calling this the Behemoth edition, and the reason for that is that when you purchase this, you also get all of the previously released DLCs. So Living Weapons, Blood and Titanium, Legacy of the Ancients, Festering Skies, and Corrupted Horizons. If you don't know anything about this game, it's made by Julian Gollop, who is the creator of the original XCOM series in the 90s. And you can see a lot of similarities between Phoenix Point and XCOM for good reason. But I will say, having played both games pretty extensively, they play very, very differently. I've got a save here that I'm going to load, and it's just taking place like, I would say a couple hours into a campaign. We're going to go on one of the first like major missions that's presented to us. I'm not going to do a full tutorial on this game here. I feel like that would be better served for a different type of video. Since this is the console launch, I do want to talk about a couple of things related to how something so UI heavy will feel using a controller. Once we boot into the Geoscape, you're going to notice like there's a... I can only imagine how much work they put in to make this work really well with a controller. This aspect of the Geoscape, like actually moving around the world, works very well. It's super smooth. To access the different sections along the bottom, you just use L2 and R2. So here's our base, here's our personnel units. Within this, we can, obviously, you can see the icons at the bottom. You can rename your units. You can go in here to then swap through equipment, training, or any customization options that you may want. It's really intuitive, and that was my biggest worry trying this on a console, is that navigating this part of it would not be intuitive. But here we are, and it's working very well. So let's get into a mission, because that plays quite differently than you would imagine on PC as well. This is the Symes Retreat mission, so let's head over here. Our operatives have reached Randolph Symes III's private retreat, where we may be able to find additional information that may help us decipher his note to make sense of his activities. However, our scans indicate enemy presence in the area. So here's our current squad. We've got Odd, the heavy. We have Walter, an assault class. We have Dexter, also an assault class. And we have a Ram, one of our sniper classes. Now, one thing that, harkening back to my original playthrough that I've actually done here that would be, I'm not going to say controversial, okay? But I've given this Phoenix heavy body armor to our sniper. Now, it does incur a stealth and accuracy penalty, but I can make up for that in other ways by skills and different helmets. But what this does lets us use jet jump, so I can pretty much navigate anywhere I want. And then if I have a pistol, I'll still have action points left to take a shot. Whereas with the heavy, if you jet jump, you can't then follow up by firing a shot. So I just find it a little bit more mobile here. I've also got a few upgrades. So Iram here is level 2. We're going in with Cautious, where we get extra accuracy at the cost of damage, but I think that's a good trade-off. Extreme Focus, meaning Overwatch is reduced by 1 point. If I hit L1 and R1, that's how I can go through the characters in this type of screen. You can see here on our heavy class, we've got heavy training. We could go into sniper training. This second row here, kind of like you get the bonus abilities in XCOM, but we're not going to take any of those right now. We also have Brawler, so we can form a melee bash with increased damage. And then our assaults have a couple of things. Walter has dash, and he's got return fire. And Dexter isn't quite level 3 yet, so he's only got dash and the assault training. We could also spend our additional points to go into things like strength, willpower, and speed. This is one thing I really appreciate about Phoenix Point, is it's not just perks that you're leveling, but it's also this balance between trading those experience points for perks and then putting things into strength for more hit points and how far you can throw stuff, increasing your encumbrance. Willpower, which dictates basically casting your abilities, and then speed, which dictates how far you can move in a turn. So anyways, let's get rock and roll and get into a mission here, and hopefully we can be successful. I'm playing on the difficulty that's 1 below the highest, only because it's been a while since I've played. So I would like to put on a successful show here. We'll see if that happens. I will talk about some of the mechanics and stuff that I really like in Phoenix Point compared to something like XCOM, which I imagine if you guys are watching this, you're probably familiar with both games, but my guess is that you're definitely familiar with XCOM. So if you've never seen Phoenix Point before, recommend watching this and then going to check out a playthrough, because it plays completely differently than XCOM. Okay, here we are. So navigating, we actually already see enemies right out here, which is kind of nice. We got a Strangler here, an Arthron, and another Arthron here. You can go and get additional info on this. Moving around the map here is just as you would expect on a controller. It feels very smooth, no problems at all. So you can go up and down in elevation by using the right stick, and then you can go back down by clicking it down. Obviously, you can rotate. It's basically like a free cam that way. Yeah, and moving around on tiles, like I have played XCOM on like a Switch, and that definitely takes a little of getting used to. I'd say took me about 5, maybe 10 minutes to get out like just that kind of initial awkward feeling of using a controller in a game that I'm very used to using mouse and keyboard for. So I don't think you're gonna have too many problems there. Now, let's get moving here. Aram, I'm gonna actually move into cover. This is our sniper. I don't mind taking this opening shot here. One thing we could do, because I've got vision here, cool thing about Phoenix Point is that you're not limited to moving then shooting. I could take my shot here, and my shot takes 3 action points. I could use the remaining action point to then move back into cover. You can see that this is using, it uses actually partial action points for your movement. So I could probably even get a little bit further, like back here if I wanted to. And I might, because yes, this indicates that I'm in cover. However, any obstacle in Phoenix Point is treated as such. So even if I'm just standing back here and that enemy is on the opposite side, this obstacle is going to block just as much as if I was standing here. Maybe even more so, because part of my body will be leaning out. But anyways, let's start out by just aiming our gun at one of these guys. You hit L2 to do that. And then I can cycle through the enemies with L1 or R1. Now, if you notice at the top, you're not seeing any percentages to hit or anything like that. The way that it works is the whiter and brighter that bar is, the higher chance you have to hit. So what I mean by that is if you look here, so this Arthron is kind of like a lighter shade of pink. That's not as certain to hit as this one, where that damage is almost guaranteed. It's pretty bright white. And one of the really cool things about Phoenix Point, if you've never played it, you can have a free aim here. So it's tough in this scenario because I'm actually shooting through a tree, but a tree will not block my shots. Let's see if I can get a better visual here. Yeah, there we go. So I can free aim this, and there's 2 circles. The inner circle has a much higher percentage chance of having shots land in there. The outer circle is where almost all of your shots are going to land. That inner circle is where majority of your shots are going to land, but there will be some stray bullets. Since this is a sniper rifle, we're only firing once. It can go anywhere in that circle, but it's going to have a higher likelihood to land in that center area. And then you can see here, like at the top, as we move around, the color of that bar starts to fluctuate. It might be a little confusing at first, but it's actually a pretty intuitive system once you get used to it. Another cool thing in Phoenix Point is you have limb-specific damage. So if I was to go and disable the head, which means literally blowing the head off, we're going to inflict bleeding, we're going to reduce his willpower, and we're going to reduce his max HP by getting rid of that body part. Willpower will make it so that it has a harder time casting abilities. You can also like blow off part of its arms. This guy is going to attack with melee using his arms. So if we blow that off, we're in a pretty good spot. But you can see here we have a much higher chance to miss this, right? So I think for now, we're just going to put some damage right here, somewhere like center mass. If it hits the head, then great. We're going to manually aim this as we are and hit R2 for our shot, and nailed it. Okay, beautiful. Now, I'm going to just swing back into cover like this, and we're laughing. Okay, so these trees do not provide any cover, which is something to consider. I don't really want to stand out there. One cool thing you can do is, like, I could move up here to get a better shot, and then I could pull back maybe to here. You can see the action points that things cost underneath them. So if you look at that middle bar, that's all of our abilities. If you look in the bottom right, those are our different items that we have equipped. We have backpack items as well that you can access here. And if you want to switch things between your backpack and your equipped units, that will cost actions to do that. So a lot different from XCOM in that regard. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to come up here. I could even come a little closer if I wanted, but I think if I go here, that's going to use almost a full action. I can take my shot, and then I'll retreat back into cover. Let's just see what we're looking at here. So you can see with this type of gun, those white markers on the health bar are not as bright. Let's look at these other guys. If I back out of this, not as bright, not super bright. So, yeah, you have to consider in Phoenix Point that everything is on a ballistic level. What I mean by that is, if this gun's going to shoot 6 times, which it is, it's going to do 20 to 30 damage per shot for 6 shots. Each bullet is going to have some stray. Some of it's going to drop, some of it's going to move to the left or the right, and you're just hoping that some of your bullets end up landing on the target. So let me see here. This guy, I only need a couple of things to land. I'm going to place this thing, like, I'm going to place as much of his body in here as possible. And let's take this shot. Beautiful. Okay, so we got one guy down already. I'm going to shift Dexter back to here. Walter now, we do have, if we wanted, we could use something like dash. So essentially for one action point, I can get in much closer, and then I could maybe run back. This is going to dangle him a little bit, but just for the sake of showing you, that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and set this up. That would normally take like 2 actions to get there, but we used will points instead. So keep an eye in the bottom left. That's going to show you our little summary of the soldiers, how much AP they have left, how much HP, and their will points. I could go ahead and do this again if I wanted to really drain his will points and get a lot closer. But let's take a look and see what our shot's like from here. Walter does have a special gun that we started with, so I made sure to equip him with like our non-basic gear. We have really good shots on both. Now, what you could do, if you really wanted to, you could take like a shot like this, and some of your bullets would hit either enemy. Truthfully, I could aim like way up here, and some of those shots are probably still going to hit this guy. But seeing as this Triton Strangler is getting close to us, let's see what kind of options we have here. So he's got double perception, restores health to damaged limbs if disabled, removability, regeneration if we are able to destroy his torso. You can hit their legs to decrease their movement range, which is very effective, especially against like melee units and stuff. So anyways, we're going to take our shot kind of middle of the frame here. And let's do something like this. We got through a little bit of armor. That's not bad. But as I said, now we're kind of dangled here. Not great, not horrible. Maybe what I'll do is we'll actually use a dash just to move out of here. There we go. I think that's fine. That is using a lot of willpower. That's not an unlimited resource, so yeah, it's something to keep in mind. Now we have our heavy. Our chances with this heavy are going to be kind of interesting because this is more of like a cannon.
Let's make this happen.
Let's move up just a tad. And can I get in here? It's not bad, but like you can see how big the outer circle is. Like these shots could vary wildly. I'm going to target it here. If it lands, I'm happy. And if it doesn't, I'm less happy. Let's do something like this. Beautiful. That's actually huge. That's actually huge. Okay, we're out of action points now. Let's end the turn. I know we're dangling our heavy there, but they're our toughest unit, so I'm fine with that. And we're getting a little flank. Let's see what these guys decide to do. Can't quite reach us. He's got the bleed as well. You can see the limbs that are impacted by the damage that we've done. I said I wasn't going to do like a tutorial, but I realize I am kind of just explaining things as a tutorial. You probably noticed I'm going through like all of the actions pretty cleanly. And the reason I'm saying that is because using a controller for this, while wasn't natural when I started, feels totally fine right now. And I think they've done a very, very good implementation. I've played controller-based strategy games like this before, and they weren't always super hot. So, yeah. Okay, this guy's pretty close to us. I think we can probably just hammer him here. And you can see, like, if I just do my standard targeting, I don't even have to free aim this. But free aiming is way cooler. So, let's go for the head. You can see at the top, the skull that's blinking there. That means we have a very good chance to just kill this unit. One thing to keep in mind is that some enemies actually will like sway. You see how they have, like some movement there. So if I'm free aiming something here and as we shoot, he starts to move his head. Some of my bullets can actually miss that. Let's go down for these legs here and see if there's any disabling. We're probably going to just kill him here. I can take 2 shots because my gun only requires 2 action points. Yeah, so we actually just dusted that group, which felt real nice. Our sniper's in a pretty good position to take this shot down here. I'm just going to reposition a tad here to make sure that we're at least, well, hopefully at least hitting something. It could sway in between his limbs, but let's take it. Did it hit? Did it hit? Yeah, it hit. It hit. And then we'll just move into this cover here. Let's see. Our heavy, we definitely do better when we get up close. Now, we notice we have some movement icons here. So this guy is going to likely come through the window if he sees us. I could maybe just put our heavy over here just to be a target. Just to be a target that we're okay with them shooting at. Let's go back to Dexter here. Do I have a good way up? I mean, kind of. I think I will go high ground here and get him into a better position for next turn. In terms of this being on a console, visuals-wise, it's pretty good. Especially if you're running it on like a PS4 or an Xbox One. That said, that next-gen update will be very nice. Texturally will be so much differently. You can see some of the tree trunk stuff, and I'm not one to nitpick on graphics generally. I'm just going to end my turn here by hitting the middle controller button. But yeah, it's definitely noticeable when you're coming from the PC, so just something to keep in mind. Okay, so that guy's coming in pretty hot. Ooh, the Strangler. Okay. I love that we've gone up top now, and that might backfire on us a bit. We'll see. My goal in this mission is to try and get somebody's journal. I believe it's in the top part of this base. So that guy did get bleeding inflicted from our sniper. Problem here is if I don't deal with this group, it's going to be really nasty. Can I get here in 2 moves? Not quite. I can get here. What I'm looking at is how can I best utilize our cannon. I might have to set up some Overwatches, which I don't mind. We can actually go ahead and try our jet jump here. Oh, I'm underneath an overhang. Okay, so because I'm under the overhang, that's going to mess things up a bit. I can move out and then jet jump, but I won't be able to take any further actions because that's going to use pretty much everything. But I don't want Iram to be a target here. So those enemies look mostly melee. I'm fine just like jumping down here. We've got a good sniper shot for next turn. And with Dexter, how do we want to handle this? Because like if I drop down, one of the nice things is Dexter is level 3. So we have return fire. So anybody that shoots at us will get to shoot back. But these guys being melee, I don't know if that's going to be hugely beneficial. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to back to here. I'm not going to worry about cover so much because they are melee. Let's bring you up here. There is friendly fire as well, so if you're firing at somebody and a bullet goes stray, well, that's too bad. That's too bad. Could be problematic. And we'll just move in slightly here. Let's set up an Overwatch. This is another thing that works pretty differently from something like XCOM. You do have to throw down your cone. You can adjust the width of the cone with L1 and R1. But I'm just going to cover this doorway. And let's confirm that. We're going to do an Overwatch here as well. Try and cover that doorway. You can see that bright area that's getting blocked by that beam. So that's showing you your true area that you're actually covering.
Area covered.
And then let's do another one. We're just going to hit this door. And yeah, I think they might be able to break through this window. But I'm just going to cover the door and see if that works for us. All right, let's go. This guy just slowly bleeding all over the place, unsure of what to do. Makes sense. I don't even know if he can attack us because his arm is blown off. Good hits, good hits. Still alive. Can the cannon kill him? Beautiful. We had to land all of those, but they were all very close to us, so chances are going to be much higher. That said, we don't have any way to stop further advances here. Okay, so they're not sure what to do, which is great for me, bad for them. What I might do, can I get a visual on any of these guys? I mean, technically, we could go up top. We could go up top, wait for one of them to come out. I don't know if that's what we really want, though. One thing we could try here. So we know that this enemy is right back here. And if I just free aim and look to blow up this wall with a cannon, that might... Okay, we didn't blow it up. Okay, forget I said that. Maybe this wall, this specific wall, not destructible. Don't know. But total backfire on that one. Let's try this instead. I'm trying to show you guys as many options as I can. Let's go grab our grenade and see if... Let's see if I can target something like this. So see how that's hovering on him? So that's going to guarantee damage here. And we'll see if this takes down the wall. Not quite. It took down one section, but this corner section standing strong. And now I'm kind of exposed in a way I'd rather not be. That said, I'll take an Overwatch here. Let's set that.
Nothing's getting past me.
Iram does have a visual now. So you see that line that's moving out from our position? That's what we're looking for. To know that we'll have visual on that enemy. Let's go in manually here. So if I were to leave it default, it's just going to go center mass. But I have a better chance of hitting something like this. Even though it's not great, I have a better chance. So I'm going to take that. Oh, got it. Actually, beautiful job. Beautiful job. And then I'll move Walter in here. Oh, I'm sorry. Walter's actually the level 3 unit. Dexter is not. So Walter has the return fire that we were speaking of. You know what? We still have 6 willpower. We're gaining some of that back. So I'm going to actually go ahead and use... How many action points do I have here? Yeah, so if I do use another action to come over here, even with dash, then I'm going to be short. So I should have done that at the start if I wanted to do it. That said, it's okay. We're going to lay down this Overwatch cone here and confirm that. Let's see what this guy does. I'll put Odd up a bit to be the target.
Let's make this happen.
Hopefully they take that bait. So he regenerated and got his arm damage back, which is pretty huge, but nothing stops the absolute blasting from Dexter. Okay. Let's see if we can find the rest of these guys here. What's our shot like? Basically through the wall. We could try this. Let's move our heavy up. I'm just going to I'm going to try this again. See if we can't damage that. No, I guess not. The grenades are going to be much more preferable, I guess.
Let's make this happen.
Oh, another cool thing that Phoenix Point does. When you're dashing or moving to a position, it will pause you and like save your remaining action points if you spot an enemy so that you can reposition or change your strategy or what have you. Let's go grenade here.
This is going to make all the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. It's going to do a chunk of damage. Let's throw it. Okay, so grenades, clearly the way to go to get rid of the environment. Now I want to see if I can get a shot on this guy. Let's go from here. We're pretty far back. You can see, like, our chances are not very high. I want to make sure our soldier is not anywhere in any of those circles. And it's very likely we could just hit the desk here, too, but... yeah, I think we did. I think we hit the desk. This shot is much better now. That looks pretty good to me. Beautiful. So even though I kind of flubbed some of those environmental destruction things, we're still handling things pretty well. This guy, he is completely useless. He is running for his life, quite literally. Let's see if I can maybe catch him. If I go here, let's start with that. Okay, we're still slightly out of range. I'm going to switch to my pistol. Yeah, we can't quite see him. So let's move up for now. We will have him from this position on the next turn. Where are we at here? We do actually need to reload. So let's use this. Another thing about Phoenix Point, ammo is not infinite. You have to bring ammo with you on every mission. If you do not do that, you will run out of ammo and you will have problems. So that's a big gameplay change if you're used to something like XCOM. Okay, let's see if we can catch him. Or is he gone? I think he might be gone now. I believe they can get to, like, the edge of the map here and then just disappear. Which, good for them, I guess. He lives to fight another day, so why not? All right, let's see if we can find the journal. Should be in here somewhere. Where are we? If I want to find said journal, is it on the desk? I don't see it clearly indicated just yet. Oh, here it is. It's up on the other level. Okay, so there's an extra level to this still. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. It's my best way up there. I don't think we're going to see any more enemies, to be fair. We could probably just end the turn, and we'll have a ram do this for us. We can set this, I believe, as our goal point. No, maybe not. I'm misremembering things. Okay, we'll end our turn, and then she can get here, activate the objective, and boom. We've won. Nice. So, as you can see, like, I'm pretty comfortable with the controller now. It took me about 10 minutes. And if you're looking for this type of experience on a console, it does it very, very, very well. Probably one of the best that I've seen, being able to integrate all of its UI, navigating through soldiers cleanly. I actually like the manual aiming. So a lot of stuff you're activating with the X button, but when you're manually aiming, you're activating with the R2 button to kind of simulate almost like you're aiming down sights, clicking R2 like you would naturally in an FPS. And yeah, I think that's done extremely well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can show you guys that would demonstrate it, but I think you have a pretty good idea of it. They've definitely worked out some of the...
fell apart around us, it was difficult.
Well, let's let this play.
Duty. Some chose to be proactive and fight, but not me. I came here instead. My best weapon is my mind, and I need silence to put it to work. The history of the Phoenix Project is a complex tapestry. In Russia, Turkey, Britain, Spain, not one unbroken lineage, but a tangle of organizations, each passing the torch to the next with only one goal: to protect the human race. But protect it from what? Did they know about the Pandora virus? And if so, how? The answers are out there. So much has been investigated and collected and analyzed, but it's all scattered, lost. I don't know if it's possible to track it all down, but I have to try. There's only one thing I'm sure of. I can't stay here anymore.
Okay, cool. I guess just other like small things that you might be interested in if you've never played a game like this. All of your gear has to be built individually. When we come back to base, if we want to replenish some of our stuff that we've used, like our grenades, we can just say replenish all, and then it will queue that all up. Ammo is manufactured instantly, but grenades take, I think, 4 hours to do. There's a whole bunch of different research that you have to unlock, and research. It's all time-based. Anytime you're doing something on the Geoscape, your research is happening in the background. At your base itself, you can build in these empty sections. You can destroy stuff if you so choose to place it elsewhere. It's all there. There's a ton of different stuff to do. Oh, one thing people might like is, yes, our Air Force, you can build multiple manticores if you want to fly around. There's different versions of these planes that you can use to get around that have faster or slower speeds, higher or lower capacity. Technically, I could have taken 6 soldiers on a mission there, but I only have 4 at the moment. Yeah, what else can I show you? Let's show you the manufacturing tab. So right now, this is all the stuff that we have access to equipment-wise. You've got all your magazines, your guns, everything that's been researched or unlocked so far. They all have different stats. Armor-wise, this is very important if you're brand new to Phoenix Point, because all of this stuff, it can impact your aim, your stealth, your speed, and I would encourage you to experiment. I remember when I played, I was using some... I guess I would say it's gear that was incongruent with the class, and it made for some really interesting combinations. But the one thing I did want to touch on here was the vehicles. So you can deploy vehicles. They take up additional slots in your plane. You can deploy vehicles on the battlefield, and they're very strong. You can use them to tank for you, no pun intended. They can launch rockets and stuff, but they're pretty costly, take a lot of time to build, resource intensive, but the trade-off can be absolutely huge. There's a diplomacy section here where you can see what your relationships are like. Currently, we're just over friendly. We just met New Jericho and Disciples of Anu, but that'll change as you go, depending on what decisions you make in the game. And then lastly, you've got a Phoenixpedia, which is super deep. Like, you can learn about all the different damage types, all the story stuff, all the research you unlock. Everything's in here. And yeah, if this is your type of jam, you're going to have a lot to do in here. So I hope I've at least demoed how this plays on a console well for you guys to give you a good sense of the controls, how it runs. It runs very smooth. Loading is not going to be as fast as on a PC, obviously. I'm on a PS5, so things are probably loading a little bit faster than it would be on a PS4. But overall, I would say this has been moved over to console extremely well, and I'm really impressed that they've been able to pull this off with a game that's this UI intensive. So congrats to them. Guys, check out the links down below if you're interested. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. If I don't have an answer, I will fire it off to the developers, and I will get you one, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.